Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekly Oracle Wisdom. My name is Natlie Sadie, and we are going to have a look at the energies for the week ahead. I hope you all had a wonderful week last week. And thank you to those of you who joined Anne and I live for Gemini Rising, which, if you haven't watched an episode of Gemini Rising, that is on my Natlie Sadie channel under the live stream section. Go check it out. We had Evan Nathaniel Grimm. And it was such a fantastic conversation. We could have just kept going and going. But we will get Evan back on the show at some point so that we can keep asking all the questions that we all have. So let's get into it. I am starting with the Ascending Life Oracle deck because, as we all know, it's one of my favorite decks that I own. Okay. Karmic justice, wrong made right, you will be vindicated, getting what you deserve, learning karmic lessons. So I know so often when things happen for people, they want to get revenge if they feel that they have been wronged or if somebody has done something wrong. I have always been a believer that karma does take care of things. And I actually think it's better for our karma if we don't exact revenge. But it always is satisfying when you know that the universe has taken care of something. So just keep an ear out. I mean, the fact that Mercury is still retrograde, to me, it's a perfect time to get news that somebody has gotten exactly what they deserve. It's not that we wish ill will on anybody, but there is something in this human experience that it's difficult sometimes when you have to walk away from something when you know you were wronged. The other thing is you will be vindicated keeps popping up. So if there has been a battle going on for you that you've been fighting to be proven right, or you know that you're coming from a place of right and truth and that hasn't been seen, this may be the week where people finally realize that what you were saying was actually correct. And just when that happens, be gracious. I think it's always really important in this life to be a gracious winner as well as loser. So the other thing with all of this is if you have been doing the wrong thing, just know that karma goes both ways. It's not always that we are perfect and that's it. Sometimes we screw up and the universe will come and sort of kick our ass. So just be aware if there's something that's happening, be aware of why that might be going on for you. Finances. Financial issues are a factor. Trying to generate more income, good, bad financial changes, clearing debts. So clearly a time to pay attention to money. It's that time of year where we all have outgoings. It's the holidays. We're buying presents. We're feeding people, more people than we are used to. So make sure you're being responsible with your money. I know we always want to go over the top. We want to spoil our kids, our friends, our partners, and that's all great. But it's not great if you are doing it and putting yourself in debt. It's not a smart decision. It's not going to serve you in the new year. It's not going to serve you now. So make sure you're making smart decisions. And if you have the ability to clear debt as opposed to racking debt up, make the smart choice. Round and round. And this is a card that comes up a fair bit. Not applying lessons learned, unhealthy patterns on repeat, unable to let go of the past, repeating of an old story. So repeating of an old story, again, the fact that we're in Mercury retrograde, it's things from the past come up. And I look at this card as both a positive and negative. Positive in that each time you go round in the same cycle, you are learning a lesson and you're honing in on that lesson and learning a little bit more so that hopefully you can get out of the pattern. The bad side of this is that if you're stuck in this cycle, and depending on how many times you go round and round. I was talking to a girlfriend the other night. I haven't seen her in a few months, and so we were catching up on everything that was going on. And she had been dating someone that I really didn't like the sound of, and I am not someone to tell another who they should be with or what they should do. But at the same time, I pointed out that there were some very unhealthy behaviors. And I said to her the other night, I said, "He's still with the guy?" She goes, "Oh God, no." But she said it took me five tries to get out of that relationship. And she said, "I'm so embarrassed. It took me so long." And I went, "No, we've all done it. We've all been there." And my rule with all of that is, as long as you recognize what you're doing and you're learning something from these cycles every time, but you have to be careful not to get stuck in the cycle and not be able to get out of it. If you're learning a lesson, I mean, I had someone that I was dating and it wasn't that healthy, but I really enjoyed him and there were really beautiful parts to that relationship. And every time we went around, I would go, "Okay, that's it. I can't go back." And I would, but my friends told me after the fact that they weren't worried about me, because when I would go back, I would say to them, "I realize this is a mistake. I know this isn't healthy for me, but I'm not ready to say goodbye." And then there was a day where I just went, "I'm done." So that cycle had gone round enough. I had learned the lessons that I needed to learn, and then I was able to free myself. So just be aware of why you're stuck in these cycles, and if you need to change something to get out of it, it's time to do that. If you're aware that you need to get out but you're just not ready yet, that's fine, but you need to take ownership of that situation. You need to recognize as best you can what's going on and go from there. The next card is dice. Time to take risks, getting out of your comfort zone, leap into the unknown, adventure awaits. I feel like this is perfect that this has come out with the round and round, because if you're able to get yourself out of these cycles that you're stuck in, you then get to go on new adventures. You get to roll the dice and okay, we're doing this again. We did this last week. You get to roll the dice and choose your own adventure. You get to go wherever it is you want to go. You get to go and try new things. And I mean, that's the exciting part of life. Who wants a life where you know what everything is and how it's all going to unfold? I can think of nothing more boring. And it's time to do something exciting. Go on adventure. Yeah. It's time to mix things up. It's time to go somewhere different, go out with different people, say yes to an opportunity that comes up that maybe wouldn't have before, or that perhaps you would have said no to. It's time to start saying yes. Ghosting, sudden disappearing act, cutting off all communication, feeling rejected, dealing with lack of closure. So, are you ghosting someone because you don't want to have the awkward conversation? Okay. Gotta love Mercury retrograde. Or has someone done this to you? And remember, if somebody has ghosted you, we talked about this before, but karmic justice is a thing. It's real. Okay. I don't know why my lens has days like this. But if you're feeling rejected, if somebody's ghosting you, understand that this says more about who they are and their inability to act with integrity and have the conversation that needs to be had. So often when a relationship doesn't work and when things end badly or in a way that we don't understand, we automatically take it all on ourselves and go, "Oh, it must be something I did. I mustn't be good enough." And that is not the case at all. What it is a matter of them having an issue, and instead of being a grown up and calling you and saying, "Hey, this isn't working," that's what it is. So the other thing is, if you are the one about to go someone, maybe have that awkward conversation. And you can have those conversations in a way that are respectful, that do not hurt another person, and gives them closure that maybe somebody else didn't offer you. And it can make all the difference. There was someone I had gone on a date with, gosh, it feels like a lifetime ago. And he was the loveliest man. And there was not a single romantic spark, connection, anything. And I called some people and I said, what do I do? And they said, well, lie. Just don't call him. Don't do this. And he was such a stand-up guy that I refused to do that. I was like, no. So I ended up calling a guy and I said, what do I do here? I don't know what to do. And he said, all you have to say is, I had such a great time with you, but I need to leave things where they are. That's it. That's a full sentence. You don't need to say any more. That gives him the understanding that you're not in the same place he is, all of that. I said, okay. So I had the awkward conversation with this guy and I felt awful doing it. And the next day I got the most beautiful message thanking me and telling me what a woman of integrity I was for having that conversation with him and allowing him to understand. So just keep that in mind if you're the one that does want to do the ghosting. And if it has happened to you, it's not about you. I know it feels like it is, but it's just not. Coldness, absence of love, love life is blocked, frozen in some area of your life, emotions buried deep within. So the first question that came into my mind when I pulled this card is, are you holding your emotions back? Are you afraid of sharing how you actually feel? Because I feel like if you expressed yourself, it would actually be appreciated. But you obviously have to make that call. And okay, I feel like more than an absence of love, and maybe for some of you that phrase is hitting a spot, I feel like this is more of a block, like frozen in some area of your life. And again, this is where you have to take stock and try and figure out where the blockage is and why. And you have to find the workaround. And there always is a workaround with these things. So take a moment to reflect and really be honest with yourself about why you think there's a block. As everyone who watched last week knows, I took all of the last week to do something for me. And I was so ready and I was so excited to go on this journey that I went on for the week. But the very first day where I was heading out the door, I went to get my keys, and my keys are always kept in the same spot. And I go to get my keys and my keys aren't there. And I'm running through the house like a crazy person. And my place isn't that big. And I'm looking. I cannot find the keys anywhere. And eventually I sat down and I went, why am I blocking this? This is on me. Why am I creating a block here? And I sat down and I took a breath. And the moment I recognized that I was creating the block, I looked across the room and my keys were sitting there. They were sitting on the floor right next to my front door, as if they were ready to walk out the door with me. So this is why I say you need to take stock and you need to figure it out. And often the recognition of you creating that block will shift things, but maybe the recognition will put you on the path of what it is you need to find. So one card jumped out just to finish off this deck, which is the Star. Wish fulfillment, blessings, wealth and fame, becoming quite popular, brand new, hopeful life. So to me, this is confirmation that what I'm saying is you need to stop and take stock of what is blocked or what is causing the block, why it's there. And once you figure that out, and once you get out of this round and round and round cycle, and you're ready to take the adventures that are being offered to you. And once you're ready to say yes to life, good things, great things. So if you saw the thumbnail today, you can see that our warrior woman is embracing her inner child. I didn't want to go to the shadow work deck. I thought instead we would tap into the inner child and sort of see what they need, because I think it's so important to take stock of what they need, because so often when we're kids, they don't receive what they need. They get left behind, and then as we get older and adult responsibilities take over, we just kind of move on and block certain things. And I think it's so important to sort of nurture him or her and do what we can to make them feel safe and move forward in life, because they will only help us. Be true to who you are. Fear will not stop you from shining. So it's so easy to feel, and again, this goes back to the ghosting card. It's so easy to feel like we are not enough, and that we are not worthy, and that when things don't work out, it's because we've done something wrong. What we're not focusing on is we were put on this earth to be exactly who we are. Man, this lens today is killing me. You're an individual, and you're here for that reason, and you have to embrace it. And the moment you embrace it, yes, some people may walk away because they're not meant to be a part of your life anymore, but the right people will stay, and the right people will find you. But it's difficult for them to find you if you are not being authentic. And so the imagery on this card is a unicorn on all the clouds with their beautiful wings and the really beautiful soft colors of the rainbow. The reality is, we all talk about wanting a unicorn, finding the unicorn, all of that. We are the freaking unicorn, each and every one of us, because we are all this individual soul that came here, and there is no one person just like you. So I really, really, really want people to start embracing who they are. Let your freak, oh gosh, can I say it? Let your freak flag fly. That is what endears you to people, not this drone NPC type person that's just doing whatever they can to fit in with everybody else. That's so fucking boring. Don't do that. So the next card, write a letter. Write a letter to your inner child. I know not everybody likes to write, but it's a really great way to move a lot of emotion through your body, and also to get clarity as to thoughts and feelings and where you are emotionally. And it can be deeply therapeutic and deeply healing when you take the time to do that. Slightly different, but similar sort of vibe. When Bumble passed, I had planned to write a really beautiful tribute to him on social media, and it's not that I hadn't already done that, but I wanted to write something that was a little more comprehensive. And it ended up just being a letter that was between he and I have never published it, nor will I ever, but it was incredibly cathartic, and it did a lot in terms of my healing journey. And I think writing a letter to your inner child can help in so many ways. Let go of the past. It is time to envision a new story. So your past will always make up part of your story, and it will make up part of who you are today and who you've become. But it doesn't define you. It doesn't have to rule your life. And that's the choice that you get to make. You get to live in a place of victimhood, or you get to live in a place of going, I get to create whatever future I want. That that story just adds layers to who I am. But there are a lot of people that like to hold on to those stories and use it as a crutch, almost as an excuse to not move forward. People sort of talk about the abuse that they suffered, whether it be sexual, physical, mental, psychological, or they talk about an unhappy home, or they talk about, I don't know, not having siblings or having siblings, whatever it may be. And I'm not minimizing any of these things, but we could all find something to hang on to and be the victim. The reality is there is more power in choosing to create a phenomenal life and allowing those experiences to guide us moving forward, to give us a level of empathy and wisdom and clarity around life and understanding of other people. And also, when you've been through a whole lot, instead of letting it making you a victim, you let it guide you and become a person that never judges another because of what they've done, because their circumstances and what have you have shaped who they are. So letting go of the past is a choice. I know some people may find that controversial. Doesn't take away what happened to you when you were younger, but it means it no longer has power over you. Okay, one more from this deck. It's okay to be misunderstood. Perception is not always based on the truth. And there will be people in this life that will judge you in a particular way, and you have no control over that. What you do have control over is your behavior, your actions, your responses. And it's okay to let those people think whatever they want to think, because nothing you can do is going to change their minds or their perception. All you can do is continue to be you, live a life of integrity, and come from a place of love. And once again, if those people aren't meant to be in your life, they'll fall away, and it can be sad, but it doesn't need to be a terrible and traumatic thing. We go back to this. Be true to who you are. It's the only thing you can do. Live in truth. And it's the best place to exist. And we are going to finish off. I was going to pull one, but I keep seeing the number 2. So Energy and Spirit Oracle. I do love these cards. Okay. Kinship, community, your group. It's a time where we're gathering with friends and family, and I think it's a time to lean into that, lean into the community. And if you don't feel like you can do that, I think you would be surprised by who you could reach out to and who would be really happy to hear from you. Coming out of the abusive relationship that I've referenced a number of times, I came out of that feeling like I was so alone in this world and there was nobody I could rely on, nobody I could speak to. And once I started opening up and letting people back into my life, I discovered how many people I could have dialed in those really dark moments and had their support, had their help, had so many different things. And I didn't do it because of pride and embarrassment and shame and guilt and all the other adjectives you could possibly think of that go with any sort of abusive relationship or traumatic experience. And the reality was there were so many people there that wanted to hear from me. So if you're feeling alone, reach out. Reach out to people. You would be surprised and overwhelmed at how many people want to be there for you and who love you. And the final card is Ascended Masters, devoted spirits with specific intentions. Know that you are being guided on this journey, and I feel like this camera wants to really mess with me today. Even if you're having a bit of a moment of struggle, You are being guided. You are being led to exactly where you need to be. But you have to work with your guides and stop digging your heels in and choosing to stay in a place that doesn't suit you, that doesn't work for you, that isn't going to benefit you. A lot of what's going on from my perspective in this reading is you've got choices to make. So with the financial that we talked about at the very beginning, you have choices to make when you're out shopping and spending money and making decisions about investments. You get to choose how this goes. So choose wisely and you will be great. Choose poorly and obviously you're going to get into struggles that you then have to dig yourself out of. When you're stuck in a loop of behavior, it's a choice. You get to choose whether you step out of it and move into a new and exciting phase, or whether you stay stuck in that roundabout, going round and round and round and repeating the same patterns. So take time this week to reflect on what it is you need, what will benefit you and those around you. And the main message in all of this is, throughout it all, be true to exactly who you are. Be honest about who you are, your wants, desires, needs, the way you want to dress, the way you want to behave. Always come from a place of love, but just be real. And I promise you, promise, the right people will find you. Every time I started behaving in a way that was truer to who I actually am versus who I was expected to be according to other people's perceptions of me, greater and greater people moved into my life. And I am so grateful that I have ended up on a path where I'm surrounded by the most awesome people that build me up and surround me with love and support and cheer me on. Because when I was trying to fit into a version of me that other people were thrusting upon me, nothing was ever working. And the reason for that was because I wasn't being true to who I was. I hope this reading resonated with some of you, if not all of you. For those of you that haven't seen it, I did do a November reading on November 1st. So that's on the Weekly Oracle Wisdom channel. Go and check that out. As always, I did a pick-a-pile, and the way those readings come together always blows my mind. And if you're on there, let me know which pile you picked. Let me know, or piles, if a couple of them resonate. Let me know if the reading you picked resonated with you. As I said at the beginning, Anne and I just did an incredible Gemini Rising with Evan Nathaniel Grimm. It was such a great conversation. So go and check that out. And I will be back on full disclosure this Friday, and I'll be back for the Weekly Oracle Wisdom next Monday. Have a great week, everyone.